Hey friends, it's Robin. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting the vlog that is coming after my whole Reader's Guide to Fantasy Romance series. This is later Robin coming in because I somehow lost the opening footage to this vlog. I don't know what happened. I assume it got lost in a transit somewhere, but I lost this opening and I actually lost all of the footage for the first book, which is really tragic because I read it a month ago now and I barely remember it, but I'm going to do my best to kind of like catch you guys back up. So here are the 4 books that we are going to be reading throughout this vlog. We have Haunted by Christina C. Jones, which I picked for my paranormal book. This is an immortal romance. Then we have Eden by Lily Mayne, which I picked for my monster romance. This is a giant purple horned monster falling in love with a military guy. We have Galen by Jacqueline Osborne, which I picked for my Angels, Demons, and Gods fantasy. And this is a fallen angel or fallen half-angel who is the embodiment of wrath, one of the 7 deadly sins, and he is falling in love with a human. Lastly, we have Evil Twin by Katie Wilde, which I picked for high fantasy, and this is a evil twin, morally gray, villainous romance. So I have, at this point in time in my timeline, have already finished all 4 of these. We're going to quickly wrap up Haunted. First, I ended up giving this 3 stars. I really liked the opening of this book. It opens up with our heroine who is with this guy, and the 2 of them have been together on and off for quite a while. And while she feels comfortable in that relationship, she doesn't feel exceptionally strong about the relationship. And she ends up having this meeting with this guy who has these very intense eyes, and she feels this intense chemistry between them. It starts to ruin her relationship. And it is actually a romance with that guy who turns out to be an immortal. And I thought that this had a really interesting premise in general. So I'm going to try to be as vague as possible. But it turns out that our heroine has a hidden identity that she doesn't remember. And I really liked the idea of this whole story. However, I felt like part of it was rushed. So it had this really strong opening, and then once the fantastical elements are introduced around that halfway part, I thought that it was really rushed, and I wished it had just kind of been drawn out a little bit because I felt like it was like, surprise, this happened. And then you got like a little chapter of like, here's what happened. And some of it wasn't very well explained. Like you never really figured out how she lost her memories. Like it was kind of just like, this is a thing that happened. And I was like, but how? Why? It's very, very much so glossed over. And then the actual reconciliation between our couple, again, was very glossed over because you don't get enough time, I felt, with the heroine to come to terms with the lost memories, to kind of walk the reader through her coming back to her memories, why she lost them in the first place, how she is like feeling and connecting back to the hero and all of that stuff. I felt like all of it was just too glanced over, and so I never ended up falling back in love with them as a couple. I felt like their chemistry and connection was very strong at the beginning, and then it was just kind of like, and they live happily ever after because all this stuff happened. And I was like, but I needed time in with that stuff to buy into happily ever after, because I believe that they have hella good chemistry, but I don't entirely believe in forever because I don't understand this middle section. So that's kind of how I felt with this. I thought it was, like I said, a very cool premise, and I would totally be interested to read more fantasy from Christina C. Jones. I just felt like it was a little too rushed in the center. So that is kind of my final thoughts for Haunted. I'm really sorry that I lost all of the footage for that book. I have no idea what happened to it. It's gone. So we're going to go into the rest of the footage and then we'll pop back to me to wrap up the final book. So here is the rest of the vlog.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in old conversations. Oh, 'cause I've always been told that things will...
Hello. I have been trying to film this update all day, but work keeps getting in the way. So last night I started Eden by Lily Mayne, and I'm kind of obsessed with this. I'm just about halfway. I think I'm at like 47%, but I did not want to put this down last night. This is a pretty long book. It's like a little over, I want to say it's like 400, 450 pages. And so I have like 3 hours left in this book, but I desperately just wanted to keep reading last night. So, this is a continuation of the Monstrous series by this author. They are all technically standalones, but the story really makes the most sense if you read them in order because you do get really introduced to the world in book one, and the other characters come up and like the other couples come up throughout the series, and so you get the most out of it if you read it in order. But if there's really one that you're like, I don't want to read that one, you can still figure out the rest of the story. It's just, it makes more sense if you read it in order, if that makes any sense. So I really liked book one, and I was so excited that Eden was getting his romance right away, and I'm loving this one. This is another one of those books that kind of like goes against the things that I think I like in books. So I talk about a lot how I don't like travel stories. I don't like it in contemporary. I don't like it in fantasy. I don't like travel things. There's always exceptions to the rules though. I talked about this in my one of my recent reads where I read Sword Heart, and this is a traveling post-apocalyptic romance, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. This takes place in this post-apocalyptic world where monsters have risen. Monsters have crossed into the human realm, and because of that, the center of the United States is desolate. Like they call it the wastes, and all of civilization lives on the coasts. The wastes, like the center of the country, is just like people wandering around. And so in this one, our hero, him and his best friend they're both in the military and they're trying to get back to a base to like meet up with their group. And when they get there, the place is destroyed and they have no idea what happened, and they're like, well, I guess we just kind of keep walking. And so they keep walking and they end up getting like attacked by this like horde of monsters, and our hero's best friend is taken. Now our hero has teamed up with Eden, who is our monster, and the two of them are trying to rescue his friend. And it is really just them following this monster horde trying to rescue his friend. And even though it is them traveling around, I still love it. And like I said, book one had a similar thing where our hero was trying to escape the military. And so it was really them like wandering. But for some reason, it just works in here. And I think part of it is one, the characters. I love the characters so much in here. The relationships and the romance are really well done. I love this world. I think this world is fascinating. And just the way that this is written is just, it's super readable. It's not like too fantastical and heavy on the world building, but it is still like different enough to where it feels adventurous and different. It's a good escape, and I am a big fan. I love getting to see Win and Danny. I loved them in the first book, and so I'm glad we get like glimpses of them in here too. And Eden is just a giant purple puppy dog, and I love him so much. They have a really good mutual pining going on and kind of like an opposites attract romance. Our hero doesn't feel like he can be attracted to Eden because Eden is a monster. He sees Danny and Win, and he's like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And then their romance starts to happen. So I'm really liking it a lot. I did fall down a rabbit hole of looking at character art yesterday because that's what I do. When I start getting obsessed with a book, I go onto Instagram and Twitter and just fall down holes of looking at character art. So that's what I did yesterday. And now I just want to binge this whole series. That's a little update for this. After this one, I think I'm gonna go into Galen next. So I'm gonna go finish this one. I'm hoping to finish it today because I'm just loving it so much and I just want to get back to reading it. Unfortunately, I'm working today, so it's really holding me back. But I will come back to you after I wrap up Eden and I will give you my final thoughts. Hopefully the noise isn't too bad. It's like 45 degrees today and we have the windows open. So hopefully the background noise isn't too bad. My phone can pick that up. But I have a whole bunch of updates for you guys because I forgot to update this vlog. The other day I finished Eden by Lily Mayne, and I ended up giving this one 4 stars. This was really, really cute. I totally fell in love with these characters. I re-fell in love with this world and this writing and everything like that. I do have a couple, not issues with it, but I think a more critical reader would find some issues with this book. Or I don't remember if the first book was like this either, but this book, my hair is just an absolute mess. But this book got really repetitive in its descriptions. So like the way that things were described, that characters were described, the way that like certain scenes were described were very repetitive. Like the same language was used, same sentences were used, same descriptive words were used over and over again. And it was definitely something that I noticed, which is means that it was probably pretty obvious because I don't tend to like pay that close of attention to stuff like that. Like I said, I read for enjoyment. I'm not a critical reader, so it really wasn't that big of a deal for me. But I know that there are some more critical readers out there, so I just wanted to mention that. I thought it was really cute. I love this post-apocalyptic world a lot, and we got like little peeks inside of a whole bunch of monsters that we're going to see in later books, as well as getting to see Win and Danny from book 1, which I really liked. So I thought it was great. Like I said, I really like this world. I'm excited for the rest of the books in the series. I plan to continue on with the series. So I don't think it's perfect, but it is definitely a very, very enjoyable series that I'm kind of in love with. And then I decided that my next one is going to be Galen, which I still think it's so funny that all of these have one-word titles. So I feel like I need to choose one for the last video because I feel like we just need to continue the trend. But as of the day that I'm filming this, I haven't actually done the final video yet, so I don't know what that book is going to be. But I wanted to get another one read so that I can get this vlog up in a timely manner so that I didn't have like a bunch of books left to read at the end of the month. But this one we're following Wrath, who is an angel. In this world, there are 7 half angels, and all of them are like the sons of fallen angels. And so they are all the embodiment of the 7 deadly sins. And they are not immortal, but they will never die on their own. They can be killed, but they're immortal in the sense that they will never just die. And their main goal is to protect humans from demons. Right at the beginning of the book, all of the angels can sense that there is some sort of like strong magical artifact. Demons are like swarming the area. And so they finally track down the artifact, and it is at this, like, what do they call it? Something like an antiques and oddities shop, curiosity shop maybe. And it is ran by our other hero. And he has just received this shipment from this house. There was like a big auction, and so he just bought like a bunch of boxes, and he didn't know what was in the boxes. And as he's going through it, he's like putting everything on a shelf, and he finds this really creepy box. He puts it down and it's locked, and he comes back and it's unlocked, and he's like, I've seen this horror movie, absolutely not. And so he leaves it back there. Our angel walks in and he's like, hey, I need that box. And our hero's like, no, absolutely not. You can't just like take the box. Galen ends up sneaking in the middle of the night to steal the box. Just as he is there, the hero comes down and like tries to stop him, but demons are swarming the area. So Galen just like books it. And apparently something is going on with the hero, whether like it is imprinted on him or what, they don't know, but demons now keep attacking him. And so he nearly dies, and Galen saves him. And now our other hero knows all about demons and angels, and that's where I'm at. They very clearly have an attraction towards each other that neither one of them really wants to act on, and it's really good. I like it a lot. All of the half angels, they call themselves brothers. Like they're not actually related in any way, but they all live together in this like massive mansion, and it's just, I love it a lot. I love it. I'm really enjoying it a whole lot. So it's a Sunday today, and Sundays are always like my busiest days. So I have a bunch of stuff that I need to do. I needed to update this vlog. I can actually check something off my list, so go me. I am hoping to finish Galen tonight because I really want to continue with it. And it's not very long. I think I have like 3 hours left or something, so I'm going to continue on with that. Hopefully I finish it tonight. If I do, I'll update you in the morning on my final rating. I would have read more last night, but I had a live show with Heather, Bree, and Steph, which was a really good time. And so I didn't end up reading the whole time, but I did get some content prepped up. So I'm gonna stop rambling here. I will come back to you once I've read more of Galen. Hello. So I am getting ready to do some filming, but I wanted to pop on really quick so that I can update you because last night I finished Galen by Jacqueline Osborne, and this was so good. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I loved this a lot. This was actually recommended to me by Nina from, I think it's Nina Quill. So I will have her Instagram linked down below. I couldn't remember who had recommended this to me, but she messaged me yesterday that she had recommended to me. So thank you so much, Nina, because this was amazing. I loved it a lot. I'm so attached to these characters now, and I am absolutely going to continue on with the series. I'm pretty sure I talked about what this was all about, but this is like classified as a low angst on KU. And I guess I would agree with that. There's not like the romance itself isn't like overly angsty by any means. They are pretty much like once they realize they're together, they're together. So there's no like third act breakup or anything like that. So it's definitely lower angst on that front, but the plot itself is pretty intense. And so I actually quite liked that because you really got to see them not just be a couple, but figure out their footing along the way. And I really ended up enjoying it. The characters are so sweet. I really love how these characters are these like super intense like embodiments of sin, but they are all secret marshmallows, and I loved it so much. There's something about a soft killer that just gets me every time. That's what I love so much about the Necessary Evil series, is that these guys are so intense, but they're like secret softies, and this has that as well. It was great. I loved it a lot. I loved the romance. I loved the plot. I loved all of the brothers, and I'm already ridiculously excited to continue on with book 2. So this one was another success. I'm going to film the last section for the video, like the series today, but I went to go and like move footage around for everything, and I somehow lost the first part of this video. I was really heartbroken that I somehow lost all of my initial vlog footage, so that was really sad. But yeah, I'm gonna film the last part today, so I can figure out what my final book is going to be. This video I'm just like kind of doing throughout the whole month. Hopefully it all comes together in the end, but I'm just gonna finish getting ready and then we're gonna go film the final part of this video.
If you keep on waiting, but then you came along and proved me all wrong. I was so mistaken, 'cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanting to give up 'cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson.
So today is a really big filming day, hence why I'm in my normal spot, but I wanted to quickly update you because last night I started Evil Twin by Katie Wilde, and this is in fact very wild. I'm kind of obsessed with this. Big filming day and my ring light just died. There is a soft light attached to like the tripod thing that I use, and I am the worst about charging it, and so I swear it dies all the time. I'm gonna keep this super vague. So this book opens up with our hero, and our hero is the twin brother to the heir apparent. He was born like 4 minutes after his brother, and so he ended up having to be the royal guard or whatever it's called, the head of the royal guard. And his brother is a big snot, you know, like he is the typical like heir to the king, heir to the throne, where he's just been super spoiled and like he doesn't know how to do anything. And our hero is the warrior. He's the one that's like helped save the kingdom, but his brother gets all of the credit. And so he's decided that he is going to marry his brother's bride because she is the princess to like the neighboring kingdom, and he's like, I deserve a throne. So he decides that he's gonna steal the bride, and so he shows up at his twin brother's room. The princess is there because she also has concocted a plan, and the two of them, there are a lot of layers to this deception. I'm not going to give the twist here because even though it's really early in the book, it's only like 160 pages, so like every twist counts, but it's a good one. And I didn't like see it coming, like I didn't know that that was going to be a thing. If you've read this, you know what I mean. I got to the carriage scene, and I have heard about this carriage scene, and so I put it down last night, like right as they were getting into the carriage, because I was like, I know that this is a wild one, so I decided to stop there because I knew I was going to fall asleep because I'd already taken my sleep meds. So that's where we're at today. I'm like 36% in, but I only have, I think it's like an hour left or whatever. So I'm hoping to finish it today. But if you are following me on Instagram today is February 24th? 24th? If you're following my Instagram, I'm doing a day in the life because I put way too much on my to-do list. I'm supposed to film 3 videos. I need to edit a whole video because the video was supposed to go up today and it didn't, so I'm gonna hopefully post it tomorrow. I need to clean the whole house because we have a friend coming in from out of town, so I need to wash all of the sheets, clean our house, clean our bathrooms, do all of the stuff, plus do the laundry. I want to finish that book. I have way too many things. I'm filming 3 videos, hopefully. So we'll see if any of that happens because that's a lot of shit to get done in one day. This vlog has gone pretty well. I have liked all of the books, so hopefully this is like one that I love. So we'll see. Okay, that's it for this update. I will check back in with you maybe tonight, maybe on Sunday. We'll see. Hello. So I am here to wrap up my final book for this vlog. Last night I did finish Evil Twin by Katie Wilde, and I am kind of struggling with what to give this. I think in the end I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars. This was a really, really good time. I would say the first half of the book, it had some like really interesting twists that had me on the edge of my seat, and I was very, very invested in these characters. Unfortunately, I thought like it lost steam. Is odd because this book is only like 160 pages long, but for some reason, after a certain point, I felt like we had kind of like gotten all of the twists out of the way, and then a little bit more happened, and like it was good. I thought it was a really good time, and I really enjoyed my time reading it. I just felt like the first half was stronger than the second half, and whenever that happens, it always like impacts my rating because the feeling that I'm left with at the end is so different than the feeling I had at the beginning. And so I feel like this one ended up being a little bit lower just because of that. I don't know. But 3.5 stars. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I'm definitely interested in reading more from this author just because I thought this was really unique and a fun premise. I am considering doing a part 2, kind of similar to how Kayla from Books and Lala like righted her wrongs, where she read books off of Secret TBRs that she like didn't pick for that original video to see if like those ones were better. So I'm considering doing a part 2 where I read some of the books that I didn't pick for this vlog and see if I like those ones more. Just because at the end of this, I'm sitting here going, so these are the 4 books I read. Can we judge a book by its first chapter? And based off these ratings, I would say kind of, maybe. I don't know. I really liked the books that I read, but I didn't love any of them. So I'm considering doing a part 2. You know, maybe there was another book on that list I would have given 5 stars. So let me know if that's something you would be interested in seeing. But thank you guys so much for watching this entire series. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye!